Now, this is my new book, Don't Be a Jerk, and Other Practical Advice from Dogen, Japan's Greatest Zen Master. I wrote the book as a way to try to convey the essence of an 800-year-old Japanese Buddhist classic called Shobogenzo, Treasury of the True Dharma Eye. Shobogenzo is a real old book that was written by a guy named Dogen, who was a Japanese monk who left Japan, went to China to try to find a more pure form of Buddhism that wasn't available in Japan in his time. It's been around for 800 years, but it's only been in the last 100 years that it's really been studied. It was kind of lost for a long time. It wasn't lost. People knew where to find it. They just didn't go there. It wasn't widely read until the early 20th century when it experienced a resurgence in Japan. And now there's several English translations available, so I thought the time was right to kind of put a more modern spin on the thing. Working with this chapter in Shobogenzo called Shoakumakusa, which means don't enact wrong. And my idea for the book was to try to come up with original, contemporary sounding ways of saying the same things that Dogen said. So don't be a jerk is the way an American in the 21st century would say the same thing. And he says that don't be a jerk is the main message of Buddhism. And he frames a kind of dialogue with somebody who says, well, that's stupid. Any 3-year-old child could tell you don't be a jerk. And he says, yeah, a 3-year-old child could say it, but even an old man has trouble doing it. So it's a very basic idea, but something that we all have trouble with. I think it's possible that people will read Don't Be a Jerk and learn how not to be a jerk. But it's not that the book is written as a kind of prescriptive thing that's going to give you lessons in how not to be a jerk. It's not a self-help book in that way. But what Dogen said is we all have the intuitive ability to know right from wrong in any situation, which itself is kind of a radical thing to say because we really feel that certain people don't know. But the only reason we don't know how to act correctly is because we try too hard to think things through. And in your mind and in the realm of thought, you can justify anything. This is how Nazism happens. This is how people blow up airplanes and things like that, because you can justify it in your head. But in your more basic intuitive sense, you know those things are wrong. And what Dogen is urging us to do is to learn how to respond to our intuitive sense of right and wrong. Well, whenever I write a book, the main thing I hope people will take from it is that they'll just enjoy reading it. I don't really aim much higher than that, although I did write this book because I wanted to understand Dogen more deeply. So I got out my piles of Dogen translations and the original Japanese version and versions in contemporary Japanese and kind of sat it out all on my kitchen table and with my laptop sitting there trying to go word by word and phrase by phrase through Shobogenzo and distill what I thought were the most important points out of each phrase that Dogen used. And maybe that'll be useful. Maybe all that work and sweat I put into that will come through and people will get something out of it.